Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. I'm your host, and today we're going on a seriously cool journey, starting from the buzzing, chaotic radio waves of the 1920s all the way up to some modern brain-hacking software. If you're one of those people who thinks old technology is dead technology, well, prepare to be absolutely amazed by the enduring power of the human mind.
Okay, let's dive right in with a pretty mind-bending reality. What if I told you that an analog technology, literally from over a century ago, is still incredibly relevant today? In fact, in certain situations, it vastly outperforms modern digital computers. We are talking about CW, or continuous wave communication. You probably just know it as Morse code.
So, here's how we're going to break this all down today. We'll start with the sheer magic of CW, trace the technical evolution from sparks to continuous waves, and check out why the human brain is the ultimate decoder. Then we'll get into the really fun stuff, hacking your memory with a program called CWBliminal, diving into synesthesia and subliminal learning, and finally wrapping it up with some real-world contest training.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the magic of CW, decoding the sounds. What exactly is this old-school tech?
Now, here is what's absolutely fascinating. Continuous wave, or CW, carries basically zero information on its own. It's really just a stream of unmodulated radio frequency energy. Think of it like someone just blowing a whistle continuously. It's a steady, unchanging tone, right? It only actually becomes a form of communication when you chop it up, when you turn it on and off for very specific lengths of time.
And that brings us right to the language itself. Now, most folks out there think of it as dots and dashes, but ham radio operators, they call them dits and daws. Why the weird names? Well, because it perfectly mimics what you actually hear. A dit is a short, snappy beep, and a daw is a longer one. Actually, to be precise, a proper daw is always exactly 3 times as long as a dit. It's all about that rhythm.
Moving right along to Section 2, Sparks versus Continuous Waves, a Technical Evolution. Let's see how we got from early messy experiments to the super clean signals we use today.
Wow, okay, this perfectly captures those early days. Say hello to Old Betsy. That's an early spark transmitter built over a century ago by Hiram Percy Maxim. These old beasts created what they called damped waves. Let me tell you, they were chaotic. They sounded like these crude, buzzing noises and were absolute massive bandwidth hogs. They literally caused severe interference everywhere on the dial.
So yeah, by the 1920s, operators realized, okay, we need something vastly superior here. While those spark transmissions just spewed noisy, damped waves over tons of frequencies, this new continuous wave technology was a total game changer. It was hyper-efficient, it concentrated all of its energy into this tiny, narrow band of just 50 hertz or less. Because it was so incredibly focused, a CW signal could punch through and travel much, much farther.
Which leads us to Section 3, the human brain advantage, efficiency in chaos. If this is literally just simple beeping, why haven't supercomputers completely taken over the job? Take a look at those pink spikes. In just one tiny 50,000 hertz slice of the spectrum, you've got over 100 stations competing. Ham operators affectionately call this the happy chaos. Thanks to that super narrow bandwidth we just talked about, you can cram dozens of these 50 hertz CW conversations into the exact same amount of space you need for just one single voice signal. Pretty wild, right?
But here is the real biological secret weapon. CW is the only non-voice mode out there that completely skips the computer. When you're dealing with a noisy, interference-heavy environment, the human brain has this absolutely incredible ability to filter and decode more signals. It's the kind of chaos that would completely crash a modern computer algorithm, but your ears and your brain, they are literally the ultimate unbeatable filtering software.
All right, let's look at how we can train that wetware. In Section 4, hacking memory with CWBlim, a modern tool. Enter CWBliminal. It's a completely free piece of software created by Giancarlo Galatolo, and it is entirely designed to bypass that stressful, active effort of learning. Instead, it works by imprinting CW sounds and text directly into your mind. Now, they use the word subliminal a bit playfully here, mostly to describe how semi-passive and intuitive it is. So instead of agonizing over memorizing charts, you're just naturally absorbing this permanent association between the sounds and the characters.
Of course, there are always hurdles. Radio operator Roberto Borelli points out in his review of the software that certain characters are notoriously easy to mix up, especially as the speed starts ramping up. For example, H, I, S, and 5, they all just have different dot counts, so they blur together. F and L get swapped all the time, and the same goes for J, W, and U. The beauty of CWBliminal is that it lets you isolate and just relentlessly hammer these specific, tricky groups until your brain effortlessly tells them apart.
This brings us to Section 5, Synesthesia and Subliminal Learning, Colors and Sounds. This is where the whole neuroscience angle of the software gets super interesting.
What CWBliminal does is it links completely random colors with the CW sounds, which creates this amazing multi-sensory synesthetic learning environment. And science actually backs this up. Studies suggest that hitting the brain with diversified visual and auditory stimuli at the same time dramatically boosts memory retention. It's basically a memory hack. It's exactly like how you can instantly recall some catchy commercial jingle from a decade ago without ever actually trying to study it.
And this visual immersion, it gets incredibly intense. Roberto actually shares a pretty hilarious anecdote in his review. He jokes, "A friend from Senegalia named Lorenzo stared at the full-screen hypnotic mode for 4 hours and had to be hospitalized." Obviously, that's just a joke to add a little levity, but it hits the nail right on the head. It shows you just how deeply captivating and immersive this full-screen visual and auditory pairing can really be.
Okay, let's bring it all into the real world with Section 6, Real-World Contest Training, putting it to use. How do we actually set this thing up?
Let's walk through setting up a practical, high-speed training session for a radio contest. Step 1, you crank that speed up, let's say 32 words per minute. Step 2, you select the call signs mode, so you're hearing actual real-world operator names. Step 3, and honestly, this is absolutely crucial, you set the repeats to 2. Why? Well, in a real contest, with blistering fast call signs and tons of radio static, you almost never catch it on the very first try. Setting it to 2 repeats perfectly mirrors that real-world rhythm. After that, you just hit play.
And beyond just the basics, the software is totally packed with handy features. It's got a self-test mode that gives you immediate feedback on your accuracy. Mr. Sound? Just smash the F7 key to forcefully repeat it. You can even practice standard cue codes and abbreviations. Plus, for the visual learners out there, it has these cool da-de-da visual captions. It even includes international NATO phonetic voice announcements, which is just an absolutely incredible tool for visually impaired users.
So, bringing our whole historical narrative full circle here, take a look at this modern battery-operated Cricket CW transmitter. I mean, it is incredibly minimalist, right? More than a century after Big Old Betsy, operators with well-trained ears are using beautifully simple setups like this to actively communicate across the entire globe, cutting right through the noise using nothing but continuous waves. Which really just leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Are you ready to turn off your screens, rely entirely on your own ears, and master the art of the dits and daws? I highly encourage you all to take what you've learned today and dive headfirst into this wildly fascinating world of CW. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.